I can honestly say that I am a fan of Diddy's musically. Anyone that knows me knows that I am a die-hard Biggie fan. I would have married him and had 17 of them ugly cockeyed kids. He was just my dream man, musically and, aesthetically. I have never met a man or saw a man to me, that's just my taste personally, finer than Biggie other than Michael Jackson. But that's just me. Now I have come to believe that I feel that I fell for Diddy because of my love for Biggie. I can't deny that his music after Biggie helped as well, but I also saw the arrogant and narcissistic person that he really was. And I thought that this was just a part of his charm and business savviness. But as we can see, there was much more to that. There were all clear signs shown to us in plain sight, masked behind the big persona that he wanted us to believe and help. But now we see that that was just all smoke and mirrors, which leads me to his present incarceration. I'm going to start from now, give my conclusion on how I think he should proceed with this case, then go back to his beginnings on what I found out on the internet. Some may be facts, some may not, because I don't know Diddy personally. I'm just going by what I believe and what just makes sense to me. So if I'm wrong, that's not my intent. Please feel free to leave them in the comments at the bottom. I would love to hear from you guys and be corrected because maybe I could be thinking something that's not actually true and with more facts, that could change. But I watch a lot of stuff on the net, but mostly people that are credible, such as lawyers and the news, and just reading court docs because I want to give you an accurate commentary. And so far, everything that I said Diddy should have done, he didn't do. And that's why I think we are here. With that being said, I do believe that the best way Diddy's lawyers should proceed is to plead down his charges to lesser charges, get the ones with the bigger times thrown out, and plead guilty and go in to have them ran concurrently. Um, for instance, if what I mean by concurrently in a legal definition is, like for instance, if he gets say 50 years in Fed time, that's 85% of the time. So he would have to serve out what 37, 37, around 37 and a half years. He would have to serve that out. But if he get them ran concurrently, that's called consecutively, by the way. And if he get them ran concurrently, if he gets 50 years, he will only have to serve 8.5 years because for each day that he does, it will be counted towards all five of those accounts if he's found guilty on them. So he will only have to do 8.5 years on that. And my reasoning for this is that this will save himself and countless others that can possibly be charged. When they first started saying that Diddy could be charged after Cassie's lawsuit, I thought that he should run. I would just do the Russell Simmons and go to a place where I couldn't be extradited back to the U.S. But then I started to think about this the day that he got arrested. As a matter of fact, I love Diddy, but I wanted him to be arrested for his charges, just like with R. Kelly. I do feel sorry. I did always feel sorry for their children, especially Diddy's kids, to where they had lost their mother and now potentially about to lose their father for the rest of their lives, and just the things that they are hearing and have to go through. I thought, oh Lord, I wanted him to be prosecuted, but I do feel bad for his children. And then I also thought about it, okay, he can't necessarily leave because of the people that he was dealing with. Now, we all know that Diddy was a billionaire, close to being a billionaire. So he hung with people that was gazillionaires, trillionaires. He's traveled the entire universe and done many things and received many accolades. So people wanted to be next to him. People wanted to, be seen with Diddy. And also a lot of people with money, gazillionaires that we have never met, never heard of, never seen, that Diddy has interacted with and has probably have been to those parties. So if he decided to leave, just like any other criminal, he could probably hide out from the FBI forever for the rest of his life. But he would have to leave his family here who could possibly go to jail, be prosecuted. But he couldn't run from these billionaires around the country. They would either have to help him or hide them and, not know what's on these tapes and be prosecuted by the police, the feds, or basically he couldn't. There was nowhere he could run from them because if he goes to another country, of course they're gonna find out he's in their country. This is their land. They're gonna find out. Um, and if they wanted to kill him, if they wanted to whack him, sorry, I'm trying to think of words I could use so I won't be flagged on YouTube. So if they wanted to whack him, they could and get away with it, and then he's there. They could whack him, and no one be none the wiser of who done it. But then they also risking being charged. So if he left, we know billionaires, people with money, and at this capacity where Diddy is, they have too much to lose. They have a reputation to lose, and they also want to keep making even more money. So, with the threat of that being compromised, they would have to off Diddy. So, if he left and they couldn't find him, who's there to else? His family is here. His loved ones is here. So we know how the cartel and how these people work. They would just go down the line and start whacking. So he couldn't very well just leave and do that and leave his family in expense or take them with him because there's too many people now. There's too many people to hide out. Of course, with too many people, you bound to get caught by the feds or by the people that are looking for you. And also, if he told he's in jail, we all know how that turns out. They'll get him in jail. So Diddy can very well tell on these people. Which leads me to let's go back to Cassie. Um, there's rumblings that his lawyers are throwing in there that they're going to try to. Of course, Cassie is the star witness for the prosecution, and they're going to try to discredit her. But what I would try to do as Diddy, I would try to make her my co-conspirator. I would because she did call, she did make arrangements. They have these workers that are willing to say this. His lawyers has also said she has done this without him. So I would just go down like in New Jack City. If I'm going down, we all going down. She's the head of the consortium. I would just put some blame on Cassidy and try to discredit her as much as I can. And also, she also said that she was contacting these people. Yes, it was under the arrest from Diddy, but she would contact these people. But let's look at the workers, the workers that are suing Diddy. Now that Diddy's money is tied up and into the feds have put a stop on his money, if I was them, I would sue Cassie. Cassie has gotten a settlement from Diddy people, so go in, get some money from her, and go back get money from both. That's what I would do as a victim, even though I know that she's a victim. If I can't get my money from him, hey, I'm gonna go to the next best things. That's just me, y'all. So that's what if I was Diddy lawyers, I would try to do put her on as a co-conspirator because she has already admitted to the things that she has done, and make her the head of the consortium. Um, and also here, Diddy was filming, and I also said then, like, I could see you filming your sex life, making home sex porn. I'm guilty of that. But the elaborate system that he had, and they said he was using this to blackmail and to blackmail these people to have something over their heads and to make them do what they want to do. He basically extortion with these tapes. But then I also heard things that made sense to me as well when they were saying that, because I just couldn't understand, like, especially after R. Kelly. And to me, to become a billionaire, you have to have some type of intelligence, even if it's in manipulation. You have to be intelligent somewhere to just make money over money over money. And you're around intelligent people. You're constantly learning. You're picking up on things. So I can't take that from Diddy. Like I think Diddy is very intelligent, and that's why I kept saying, why would he keep all of this evidence, even if he was using it for blackmailing? It just doesn't make sense to me. But then when I started hearing rumblings that he was an FBI informant, I said, okay, now this would make sense to me, because I would think that everyone, in his circle knew about these parties. And I'm quite sure his counsel knew about these parties and about these tapes as well. Because when you look back in lawsuits and things, um, you have a worker that I think it was around 2017, 16 somewhere, that was talking about that Diddy uh, taped and did everything. So I'm assuming that everyone knew that, and I just can understand why they didn't make him get rid of it, or at least get it out of his dwellings, his custody, anything that he could have stored it anywhere. And that just I just thought about that then when there was rumblings that he was an FBI informant. I'm like, now that makes sense. You have Kanye even saying that a few times, and I heard that a few times. I don't know what. Like I said, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, so I don't know where I heard that. And I said that makes a lot of sense, because when you look back on Diddy, um, his the previous things he's done, I do believe that the FBI has been watching Diddy since the 90s when you had the hip hop cops out there. I do believe they were watching Diddy because of the things that escalate the whacking of Diddy, the whacking of I'm sorry, not the whacking of Diddy, the whacking of Tupac, the whacking of Biggie. And it's known that the hip hop cops were out there, the feds were watching back then. And when you think about the people that he were around, like in New York, the with Tupac was talking about Jimmy Henchman and all those guys, and they all end up going to jail. Mind you, there was rumors out that allegedly they funded Diddy's music career, and they all end up going to jail. So that, I was like, okay. Then you have in Atlanta, Big Meech and all them. Diddy was around them. They went to jail. Then you have the lawsuits that he beat. You have charges against him. These lawsuits and charges also are the same as charges that he's being charged with today about the misconduct with females and males and complaints and so have you. So he was beating these charges. A couple of ones, some big lawsuits against him monetarily, and they claimed to be have been harassed by Diddy, and complained about this, and nothing was ever done. And people are saying they were scared to go to the police because he had them in their pocket. And this would just make sense, because if he was an FBI informant, of course he thought he was untouchable. I could keep these tapes. I'm working with them anyway. But once Cassie filed this lawsuit, and the things that he was doing got out to the public, of course they're gonna, okay, now you have to be the sacrifice. You were sloppy, you didn't do this. They have to sacrifice one of them, but they will help them. And not even just that, maybe they didn't get Diddy over the years because they didn't have anyone to testify, any help, or they actually didn't want Diddy. They were having Diddy set them up for a bigger person. So you have to think about all that as to why he kept them tapes. And that's why I say the the rumor that he's an FBI informant, that I can believe that. I really can believe that rumor. So I'm just looking forward. I do think that he will get found guilty. That I definitely do think. They can't get around any of this. But let's look at how much time he gets, and let's look at, that would tell it all, that if he's an FBI foreman and what's going on there. So yeah, that's how I think he should plead. I think he should just uh, plead guilty right now. That'll save a lot of them a lot of trouble. That would also probably keep him alive and his loved ones alive, and also suppress the evidence that they have. Because think about that: if Diddy goes to trial and these tapes, everyone's business is going to be out there, the things that these people have done on the tape. So think about that as well. So Diddy, your lawyers need to put me on as an assistant or something, because right now they just running amok in the palace. I think you have horrible counsel, or either you're not listening. So yeah, I just think right now his best bet is to just plead guilty, because even when the Cassie lawsuit came out, I said that very second I heard it, when it was rumblings that she would file a suit, he should, whatever is going on, he should just settle with her. I said that, and he didn't, and it got him here. So that's the same thing I'm saying here. It's best that your attorneys plead the charges down, have the big ones thrown out, and you plead guilty. Diddy was born November 4th, 1969, to Melvin and Janice Jones. His father was killed when Puffy was 3. His father is rumored to be a close associate of the notorious drug dealer Frank Lucas of Harlem, and was whacked at a drug deal because he was believed to be a police informant. His mom, Janice, was a teacher and worked several jobs at the same time to make sure that Diddy stayed accustomed to the lifestyle I'm sure his daddy had accustomed him to, and also to keep herself there as well. Diddy said that his first job was a paper route. I think he started when he was around 10 and was making about $1,000 a week. I had a paper route when I was 12 and was doing 4 routes at one time and was getting paid every 2 weeks. And I did this from the time I was 12 until about 11 or 12 till I was 16 in high school. And the biggest check I could only remember receiving probably is around $100, a little over 100. So I figure um, that was some pretty good money. I always told my mommy, you moved to the wrong state. I'm looking like 10, making $1,000. Wow. So I'm thinking that since his mom is working all of these hours, that left Diddy at his own demise. Who was watching Diddy? So just keep that in mind as we go along. He was making this kind of money. I could only imagine that. Well, we'll get back to that. He also, I saw an interview where he said he stayed in the books. He went to school. He was a hustler like his dad. His dad was obviously a hustler, and he ended up graduating in 1987 from a Roman Catholic high school. Keep that in mind as well. So um, this was really interesting because it was like we kind of grew up in the same household, minus him having siblings with a single mom and having a paper route. And Diddy was born in '69. I was born in 1970, December 13th. So we're like a year and a month or so apart. So we were grown, being raised in the same era, and that's why the $1,000 shocked me, and us doing the same thing. Like, wow, he was making 10 times more than me, and I thought about that, and I thought about me being on my paper route, and what I was doing. This really made me think about it, and just think about that. You're on the paper route. You're out there. You're a kid. You're walking around. I knew everyone in my neighborhood, the homeless people, the hustlers, mothers, the parents, uh, just everybody, even the police at the time. I knew them. Um, So it was just interesting because a few years of me doing this, I remember one of the guys, he was like, a top Latin king. I used to hang with the kings. And he told me that he watched me on my route to make, he knew what time he would stay up. Sometimes they would still be out, overnight, the hoodlums. And I would just walk through them and speak, and they would just be like, amazed. I'm a little girl doing this. So they really watched over me as I was doing my route, unbeknownst to me at the time. And I can remember one time, shout out to Fredo, he came up to me and he was like, I watch you on your route. I make sure I know what time you're supposed to be on my block. And because this was in my neighborhood, so I was on the block of everyone that was familiar with me. And he was like, when you're not out here, I would come, because I would remember some mornings he would be standing outside on the block by himself. And he was like, and if you're not down here, I come stand out to make sure you're okay. And I was like, wow, I was impressed. And I thanked him at the time. So I thought about that with Diddy. I was like, that would make sense. He's in his neighborhood. Everyone knows him, and he's out walking around with the hoodlums. How could he have made that money? They probably had him doing illegal things, delivering illegal substances, around the neighborhood where he was able to make this much money. And also, like I said, I've never seen an interview or heard of anyone that watched him while his mom was at work. So I was thinking about, well, who probably watched him? And since, her husband was in these illegal activities, it would only be common sense to me that she knew these people and she trusted these people and they were in the neighborhood. So she probably felt comfortable leaving him at home by himself. Just like we were latchkey kids. My mom worked a full time job. My dad wasn't in the picture like that where he was able to watch us until we were older. So I thought about that and I said maybe that's how he was making this money. And then I even thought even more because as I grew up, my mom was a L7, nothing street about her, but the streets just excited me because, I was seeing this as a child, just like Diddy was. We were out working, delivering papers. We were seeing this fun. So it excited me. I got in the streets when I was a teenager. And I eventually started selling drugs. And I would ask people, because I was always intrigued. I've always wanted to know why, people do the things that they do. And I would ask, the drug users, homeless people, because I would talk to anybody. And I would, from all walks of life, especially the drug users and the hustlers. And I can honestly say 99% of them had been touched on or abused in some type of way as a child. And I started thinking about that and I said, maybe this is where this happened to Diddy because he was out and he was young and he was around these people. Because I look at DMX, his story about how he was his joint, his blunt was laced, and he was later taken advantage of by someone he looked up to in the music world. I think it was African Bambaataa or something like that. I could be wrong, but I look at that and I said, wow, because it was a lot of this going on at the time. These, especially in the projects in the lower income, and we didn't talk about this. This was just like swept under the rug, like uncles get caught, brothers. They would sweep it under the rug, like they're not going to do it anymore. And abuse continued, and victims became victimizers. And I look at that like maybe this is where this deviant behavior started. He was a victim and he eventually became a victimizer. Because I remember talking to my mom about things like that. And she just told me, watch men that you're around. I can remember her saying that a man that has a lot of women and always try to prove his manhood, he's probably in the closet, trying to hide things. And if a man has hips, he's probably been molested and I mean, touched on. And I was like, wow. And I found that to be very true into talking to these people. And it just amazed me that um, I looked at Diddy. Like one thing that surprised me though that I did learn during this lawsuit that like I said in the beginning, things that I learned about him surprised me is that how close of a relationship his dad had with Frank Lucas, and that he was killed and was in a drug deal believed to be an informant. That shocked me because over the years he said his dad was a hustler. He never really said any. I never heard him say about any ties to Frank Lucas or how he was killed. So that shocked me. So I just look at like the connections that he had. He's always had these connections to the streets at this point because of his dad. So I I I could surmise from this that it's possible that maybe this behavior started back then, and I think that this could be a good defense for Diddy. You know, that garners sympathy, and it even if not for the courts, just for you know, the public. You know that's a sad story if he's been, you know, abused as a child. He can garnish that, and also you never know because I'm very empathetic to that. Just like with R. Kelly, I do think that he should they should be punished for their crimes, but when you're taken advantage of as a child, just as R. Kelly as his sister, I just couldn't imagine that. And that what it does to a person is just severe, and then it's just like an avalanche effect. They go on to victimize. Some of them don't, but some do, and they go on and so forth. So I do think that they need some help. R. Kelly, I really feel bad. I don't get me wrong, I feel bad for their kids as well, but I really feel bad for R. Kelly because just by it being his sister, and that's just mind blowing to me. But I do believe there's a possibility that this, in his younger years, this can be where someone had taken advantage of him because, like he said, he was out in the streets. His mom was working 5 jobs. He was at his own demise. He was able to go around different people, grown ups, and do different things. So this is could be a defense for him. I would, as his lawyers, I would tell him if that so be the case, use this as a defense because if he has a jury trial, all he needs is I'm not sure in feds how many you need, but look, let's just say one. Um, you just need one to doubt it, and that could be a hung jury, and that could give him more time, and he can also get a bond at this point. So I would try to use that as a defense because him growing up in that background in the era that I grew up in, I know that this is very possible that this could happen because of the people I talked to along the way of my life and when I was in the streets. So I think this is possibly where they could have even been grooming him. He could have just seen some things that he shouldn't have seen as a child. A lot could have been going on at this time. Now, if his mom knew about it, I'm not sure about that. I would hope not. But I, if he was hanging with his dad's crowd, she would have to know that he was somewhat in the streets. And I know being a parent, just like when I sold drugs, that you know your parents love you. You know they don't want you to do that. They not gonna turn down their money and your family. And I loved helping my family, and I see that with Diddy, he loved helping his family with the things that he done, whether they were illegal or not. So I can't say he's a great father if his sons are involved, but I just feel bad for them. They've lost a mom now, possibly can lose their father for the rest of his life. But I do think that he can use that as a defense, at least get less time, at least garnish some type of sympathy from America or the the penal system just he can use that as a defense. But to me, I think this is probably where and when his deviant behavior started. And also, I want to give a shout out to Tisa Tells, Tisattells. I watch her channel. She keeps me up to date on everything that's going on with Diddy now and trial that I'm unable to watch. And she's very good at her commentary, funny. And for you guys, go watch it. She's beautiful as well. So yes, Tisa Tell's channel is on YouTube, so go watch that if you want a funny commentary of Diddy, and not just Diddy. She gets down on all celebrities that are getting caught up. So yeah, go watch Tisa. Love you. Just want to give you your flowers. Now you're doing a great job. Um, but back to the story. Uh, Diddy, after he graduated high school, he goes to Howard University where he attends there and majors in business for 2 years. And at the college, he's having problems there because even before the lawsuit, I look back because I started noticing patterns in the entertainment world. I don't do entertainment, but I gossip with my family a lot about the celebrities. And I noticed that a couple of years ago, if you go back a couple of years, I could tell there was things starting to happen that were behind the scenes, just like I was telling. If you go back and look at Jay Z's Instagram, if he would put a picture up there, he would get millions of likes. If it, whether he was by himself or anything. And then I started noticing that if he posted pictures by himself, he would only get a few thousand likes. And if he posted other celebrities or anything else, he would get a lot of likes. So, and people were starting to speak badly about him and Beyonce, and they weren't getting fired. So I noticed that. Go back and check that out, people. Um, and then Diddy, things I was hearing little rumblings about Diddy. Then when he gave his artists back their rights, and I said, no, something is going on that we don't know about. I would tell my cousin that all the time. They were just, whatever. Like I was reaching. But if you notice things and you pay attention, you will start noticing that things are happening. There's a shift. Anytime they're not getting fired for speaking about Jay Z and all of this, 50 goes wild on everybody, and you see nothing that's happened to him. They had the power to shut him down, but these people know what's going on behind the scenes, so they're getting their shots out and everything now. So when things come out, they be like, okay, I got all that off my chest, so I get it, y'all. But yeah, but Diddy was having problems after at Howard University, but this is where his music career was cultivated. He was there promoting, getting asked to go to other colleges, doing club scenes. He was just the man there, and that's why he was able to get away with these things. And people are now just now coming out speaking about it. You have lawsuits that were happening. But before I get to that let's continue with his career. So he went on to promoting. Then he was dancing in music videos. He became the PR for Uptown Records under Harrell, and he was later fired from there. Then he went on to become the CEO of Bad Boy. So after that, he went into acting, did the Sean John line, the clothing line. He was just everywhere. His name was just on everything he was doing. TV, just everything. And but I always went back to the little things that I was hearing, and now there's more stuff coming out about how the dealers had funded his record company, and I was like, because just growing up, just watching Diddy, I had heard a story from my mom's boss. They're rich and they belong to the, I want to say alphabet community, but I don't want to be disrespectful. I love everyone. I don't have anything against you. I don't. Your preference is your preference. I respect and love everyone. I just don't remember all the letters to say. So I know it's LBG. And excuse my dog. I have dogs. They in and out crazy. But I just say the alphabet community, and if I'm being disrespectful, I do apologize. I do not mean any disrespect by that. It's much love. Um, but they were privy to go to one of these white parties that they had, and it wasn't Diddy's party. It was another person's party, but it was a all white party, and they said that Diddy was there with Usher, and this was the time he had to have Usher under his wing, and because they said Usher was about 12, he looked about 11 or 12 to them, and they were just shocked that he was there because of the type of party that it was. Now they didn't say they saw them doing anything. They didn't say if they did, they didn't tell me that. And they didn't see Usher drinking or anything, but they thought that this was very inappropriate at the time. It was at night, late at night, early morning, and he was up just partying around like he was an adult. And they did say that they do believe that Diddy liked men. So I've told people that story over the years, but even with myself, it just went over my head because he did such a great job at, being such a manly man that we, look at as being a man. And I just thought since that he's just, but when I look back on things, he's just a great actor, a hustler and a gangster and a thug in the hood. That's really who he was, just disguised, playing a businessman, a rapper, and all that. Because you got to know, when in Rome, do what Romans do. This is how he grew up. His dad was into this lifestyle, and That's why I believe this deviant behavior may have started at. Like he said, he was making $1,000 a week. You have these people that his dad was around. They knew that he didn't have a father. Mom's working 5 jobs. He's left at his own device, so he's able to do anything. He's probably around these people. They're probably taking advantage of him in all type of ways. So he's seen all type of these things. And like he said, I saw an interview where he said that he stayed in the books, but he stayed in the streets as well. So he was always into this lifestyle. That's just like when I look back at my mom, wasn't in the streets at all. I stayed in the streets. I love the streets. And talking to these people, I sold drugs. I never used a hard drug, but I sold drugs. I was never taken advantage of as a child. And just talking to the people that were in the streets, including the users, the homeless people, the gangsters, the hustlers, I would just always go back to like what made them come there, because I knew I didn't really have to be there. I just loved the lifestyle and what came with it, and really just the money as well. That was the top notch, was just the money, and it was fun. And I can honestly say 99% of them said they had been taken advantage by as a child, by family members, both male and female friends, just any type of people. And I was just shocked. And then when I look at Diddy's lifestyle and I think back, I said, this is probably where this behavior was. He was a victim and became a victimizer. And it just all makes sense to me because he was really this person playing a businessman, and that's where I always thought, because I said he's not gangster. He just stole Biggie's lifestyle. His Biggie was the only child. His mom was a teacher, and he just wanna be in the thug life. That's what they did. They made up a story so people would accept them, and I just said he's just really bad at playing the gangster part. But he was actually trying to hide that part of him, and he was playing a bad part at hiding it, but he was playing an excellent part at being that business person that he wanted to be, that mogul, that icon that he wanted the world to see. And behind closed doors, he was just a monster. And I do believe that this started, uh, it's more than probable because of the people that he was around and the things that were going on back then. Like in my time, like I said, the DMXs, these people, they weren't, they wouldn't have come out the closet. They wouldn't have been proud to be a part of the Alphabet City. they would just hide it and they would victimize and take it out on other people. And my mom used to tell me like a man that likes a lot of women that got to prove their manlyhood and also that has hips has 9 times out of 10 been, taken advantage of as a child. And, they're trying to hide that. And I find that true in most of these celebrities that you see that are out there that claim to have all of these women. All you hear the background of them, you know, being a part of that Alphabet City just in the closet. So I do think that this would be a great defense for Diddy to just at least cause some sympathy, at least by the public opinion. Just like even with R. Kelly, I know R. Kelly did some horrible things, but just hearing the story that he was taken advantage of by his sister, that just tugs at my heart like free Kells. I think that he learned his lesson. I know these people need to be rehabilitated and all of that. But I always try to be empathetic and sympathetic at the same time. That's why I always ask questions like, why did you start this? What were you thinking? Because I want to, step into their shoes. And then at the same time, that garnishes sympathy for me. So even if I heard Diddy's cases, if he came out and, said that as a child he was taken advantage of and, everything that goes along with that, I would have some sympathy for it. And I know that him being that who he is, that would cause, that would change some minds. And I wouldn't say free him, but I would have more sympathy. I really have more sympathy for his kids, but that could cause a hung jury because if you have one person in there, then um, that's a hung jury that could stall this cause, that could cause doubt, and that's a great explanation. Yes, you see how that goes in trials. That lessens time. So I think that if that has truly happened to him, that could be a defense for him, and he should come in and say that, not just for the jury, but that would cause, because America has turned on him, all his high friends, that has changed. So I do believe that this is a factor that this this deviant behavior didn't start with his celebrity. It started a while ago, and since he has been blown out of the atmosphere, you have him being with top echelon people who have fetishes that are far different from anything that we would imagine. And like I said, when in Rome, do what Romans do. He just adapted. It just went, got to this level. And I do feel, some sort of empathy for him because I want to know why. And seeing as though I have that, I think that that's what happened to him. I can be, more empathetic for him, but I do believe he should be charged with his crimes, but he can use that as a defense. So yeah, just think about that. There was a lot of going on. He's had lawsuits over the years with this sort of behavior, violence lawsuits, non-payment. He doesn't like to pay. So there's a lot going on from when Diddy went to Howard and up until this point that they had hid from us. So you just have to look at those things, and then the people he surrounded himself with. You have Jeffrey in jail, Harvey in jail. These are people that he has surrounded himself with, and a lot of these are Kelly. A lot of these people knew about these tapes, and they just let this ride. And now it's the like Cat William said, time for reckoning. These people will be exposed, and I think all of this deviant behavior should be exposed. All of them should be exposed. The tapes should be um, released, at least names on the tape and actions. Maybe not so much as the tapes themselves, but the names and what's going on, the description of what's going on the tapes. Yeah, I'm nosy. I just want to know because I know there are a lot of names in there, and I don't want to destroy families or hurt kids, but people have to be held accountable for their actions. So, with that being said, I do think that this deviant behavior didn't start when Diddy was a celebrity. I believe that this started way back. The gangsterness, all of that. Diddy was just acting as a businessman, and the actions that are being spoken about now and these allegations is really who Diddy is. It has a lot to do with his upbringing, and I'm not sure if his mom may have known anything had happened to him, but I do think that she plays a big part in what's going on. I do believe she knows what's going on. I don't think that she does not know. And I think it's just sad that, and if he's pulled his kids into this, I think this is just sad. Yes, he's a great businessman. He does great music, but you have to look at um, all of the people that he's hurt. So, yeah, I just really feel bad for a lot of people, and Diddy included.
I pray someone was as blessed as I was from this. To God be the glory. So why don't y'all do God a favor and go visit us on our other platforms, because we have plenty of content there that you can enjoy. They're all on the screen. And when you do, please, please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, y'all. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting Heart to Heart ATL Saturday morning prayer. Have a blessed day, and don't forget to pray. Love ya, and so does the Trinity. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hold up. Wait a minute. Now, if you want to bless your sister with a little something, something, you can. Please and thank you. I love, love, love financial gifts. And all proceeds are used to advance the kingdom of God, because I work for him. All glory be God's. So if the Holy Spirit puts it on you to send me a little something, something, my Cash App is right there on the screen. Love ya. I pray someone was as blessed as I was from this. To God be the glory. So why don't y'all do God a favor and go visit us on our other platforms, because we have plenty of content there that you can enjoy. They're all on the screen. And when you do, please, please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, y'all. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting Heart to Heart ATL Saturday morning prayer. Have a blessed day, and don't forget to pray. Love ya, and so does the Trinity. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hold up. Wait a minute. Now, if you want to bless your sister with a little something, something, you can. Please and thank you. I love, love, love financial gifts. And all proceeds are used to advance the kingdom of God, because I work for him. All glory be God's. So if the Holy Spirit puts it on you to send me a little something, something, my Cash App is right there on the screen. Love ya.